Hey guys, George Campbell and I have been working on a brand new, super exciting podcast called Smart Money Happy Hour. Like any good happy hour, we're going to start with a drink, and then we're going to give you our hot take on pop culture, what's going on in the world, and of course, money. So check out the first episode and subscribe to Smart Money Happy Hour to get in on the fun. This episode is brought to you by Gazelle. Hey guys, I'm Rachel Cruz.
I'm George Campbell.
And this is
Smart Money Happy Hour. That was really good. Good clink there.
Pretty great ding. Okay.
Here we are, Rachel. First episode.
I'm so pumped about this. This has been a while.
This was just a glimmer in our eyes months ago.
And we thought, let's just put some microphones up and chat about what we love to chat about.
And now it's a real boy. Look at that.
It's a what?
I'm a real boy. I didn't want to have to do the voice, but you got me there, Rachel.
Freaking excited
We're
about this.
so glad you all are here listening in. This is the show where two friends who happen to be money experts, armed with a drink in hand, talk about money, pop culture, and all the stuff you wish your friends would talk about. So we're going to be those friends for you today.
We are your friends.
Be the friends you wish you had.
Oh, that's great, George.
That's actually a good quote. We should tweet that.
There you go. Okay, so in today's episode, we're going to talk about 7 trends that made us broke.
This is real. But first, let's share what they can expect to start every episode, which is a drink.
That's right. So we're going to talk until we finish our cocktail, or at least one of us finishes. In this episode, what drink are we sipping on, George?
Well, this is a Basil Gimlet. This is a tried and true, timeless classic, and it hits the spot.
I love a gimlet, and then you add basil to it, and it's a whole new drink.
The herbaceousness, if that's a word, just really hits in this one. So wait until the end of the episode. We're going to give you our rating, the recipe, break down the cost, all of that good stuff.
And for those of you that don't know who we are, you just found us on some algorithm from big tech, and you are here, or a friend maybe recommended you. George is an amazing podcast host on other podcasts where he talks about kind of the dark side of money, and he loves stand-up comedy.
That is true. True statement. And Rachel, you've been helping people with money now for over 15 years. Does that make you feel old? It's got to.
A little bit.
And you love a good conspiracy theory, which that'll have to be its own episode. There's a lot
I already
there
said
to
the words
unpack.
big tech, so you know I love a
boy.
conspiracy theory.
Listen, enough about us. Let's get to what the people are here for, the trends that made us broke.
Yes. Okay, let's dive in. Number 1. It hurts my heart a little bit, but Amazon Prime.
I'm a primer.
Me too.
That's not what they call them. I don't know. Do they have a name, like Beliebers?
I am shocked when people don't have Amazon Prime. Can I say that much?
That is true. You know what? It is, at an event, I talked about Amazon Prime, taking that out of the budget to save some money, and people were throwing tomatoes at me.
Like,
It is.
"Get
People
off
are
stage."
emotionally attached to Amazon Prime. It's a
know.
part of them.
So it is a part of daily rhythm, though. We use it. I mean, I'm not kidding, George. We probably get a package. If I say every day, do I sound insane?
A little bit, but I think a lot of people are relating right now.
And I have 3 kids too, so it's just like, oh, you need stickers for your project. I don't want to run to Target. It can be here in 24 hours. So we're gonna just Amazon it. We Amazon everything.
That's huge. And Amazon has obviously expanded beyond just, free shipping and all their shopping. They've got video content and they have all kinds of features now. But most people use it for the free shipping. And there's an interesting stat here. Repricer Express. Amazon Prime members tend to spend $1,000 or more per year compared to non-Prime members who spend about $100 to $500.
Which is it has to be so true. Because think about it. The convenience, it's all convenience. You can get on your phone and in 3 taps you can have whatever you need at your door.
Yes.
And instead of saying, oh, I have to go make a trip for it. Okay, well, I'll have to wait till tomorrow because I don't have time today, so I'll have to run errands tomorrow. And then by the time you get there, you're probably like, do we really need that? Right? Time always makes you think, okay, purchases may not be necessary.
And truthfully, a lot of the times they do have a great price. I was at Target the other day, and the lady at the register said, hey, I wouldn't buy the Huggies here. They're cheaper on Amazon. Just go ahead and do that.
Huggies?
Yeah.
Diapers? George?
There were natural care baby wipes, if you want to be very specific, is what she was getting.
I thought you were buying diapers.
No, right. This lady, it wasn't me.
Gosh,
it was
I thought
another
a moment.
Woman.
I thought, is Whitney pregnant?
Gosh, no.
I went there.
I would not be making an announcement on this podcast
well, I thought
if she
you
was.
slipped, and I was like, oh my gosh.
No.
Okay.
It was another lady in line.
I thought it was you.
No. I overheard this conversation.
I'm sorry.
Overheard at Target. That's a whole new segment we could do.
And they said, just wait for
And
Amazon
the lady
Prime.
was like, it's cheaper on Amazon. I went, this is how Target dies.
All right. Next trend is Google.
Oh boy. You have a lot of thoughts about Google, Rachel. I know that.
Man.
You don't like them listening to you.
They do, though.
I appreciate it because my wife doesn't listen to me. At least Google cares. They're listening.
Okay, and here's what's fascinating. More than 80% of Alphabet's revenue, Alphabet is like the mothership of Google, comes from Google Ads.
Mm-hmm. They have your search history, in-app interactions, past purchases, voice command, app data, online profile, your favorite websites, and of course, they share that info with advertisers, which is one of the main ways they make money, through advertising.
Isn't
YouTube,
that crazy though?
advertising.
Okay, tell me this. When your everyone's like, your phone listens to you.
100%.
Yeah, I know. Like, isn't that crazy
Yeah.
though? I know that's kind of old news, but Google's in all
Well, they
of
used to be
that.
like, no, it's not listening to you. It's based on who's around you in your environment. No, they're listening.
They have that microphone. Man, guys,
If
it's
you're like,
scary.
hey,
I'm going to get off the grid
we should get
ASAP.
Michelob Ultras at the golf course later, you will see an ad in your Instagram all over for Michelob Ultra.
Basil
Tell me.
Gimlet, Basil Gimlet, Basil Gimlet. And then
free
watch
money.
someone have a Basil Gimlet
Free
recipe
money,
come up.
massages, all the things that we want. Just wish it into existence. So that's a big one, which
Yes.
then goes into social platforms.
Number 3, social platforms. Now,
and this
I
is
am
everywhere.
guilty of this. I am 1000% a tap on this link on Instagram to buy the shirt, to buy the makeup, to buy the hair product. I've done it all.
Well, it used to be you had to like be watching, TGIF on TV, and then the ad comes on, and then you go, oh, I should go to the mall this weekend and check. Now you don't have to do that. It's just happening to you.
I know.
The ads show up in your brain.
Okay, so where I don't Google, I'm like, ugh, I'm not mad at people showing me a cute sweater.
You're not mad at relevant ads.
Yes.
It used to be we were angry that ads weren't relevant. We're like, I don't want to see this. I don't
was
need a
angry about
reverse home
that?
mortge.
You?
Me, personally.
Okay,
and
I don't even
millions
know if
of
I've noticed.
Americans.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
I speak on behalf of the listeners out there who hate seeing ads that have nothing to do with them. Like, I don't have kids. I don't need to see ads for diapers. So I appreciate that ads have gotten smarter.
Yeah,
And you don't like the fact that they're listening to everything.
that is true. That is true. Okay, so here's what's fascinating to me. That now people are more likely to buy a product from an influencer, 37% more likely, versus a celebrity at 7%. Our world has changed, George.
Influencers
We're the
have
same
taken
age,
over.
but you go back to like 2002. Like you go back to like the days of
The olden days, like Oregon
of
Trail.
Britney and NSYNC, like those days. And you would watch every award show, like celebrities
It's
were like
all we had.
this thing. It was just they were such a big deal. And now not so much.
We used to watch music videos on TV.
Pop-up video.
TRL, pop-up, all of it.
All of it. Carson Daly.
So this is a problem, and the way part of this makes us broke is, Rachel, you're guilty of this for sure. The swipe up on the influencer, they're
I
like,
know. Well, now
here's my
it's now
haul.
links. And then you go to Like to Know It app and
then they have discounts because they've partnered with these companies.
It's terrible, y'all. But I don't.
How many things have you bought from an influencer that you saw on Instagram?
Should we count literally what I have on right now?
Literally her outfit.
I'm not
All
even
of it?
kidding you. Yep, the sandals.
Okay.
They're Steve Madden. These Levi jeans was from another. These are 2 separate. This was just from Loft. No, and then no earrings. So 2 out of 4 major. My rings. I got my ring idea from yeah. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's where I find stuff. It's where I get ideas.
And this is, I feel like, more.
But
I'm not-
but it does make you spend money.
Yeah, and I think women are more susceptible to swiping up on the influencers. Now, the guys fall, our friend Dr. John Deloney, one of our Ramsey personalities here, has his own show. He falls for like supplements, protein shakes, all that stuff. It's a very different world. Women more into the clothing, the accessories, all that stuff.
But hey, it'll keep you broke if you just keep spending money you don't have. All right, next, technology.
Oh, I love me some technology.
Yeah,
I was a
you're
former
more,
Apple Store employee. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Do I not just look like a guy who would work at the Apple
you
Store?
Just love Apple.
Who'd just be super helpful in getting you a MacBook
Really?
Pro that's right for you?
You got,
Do you want 256
what
gigs or
gigabyte
128?
what is it gigabyte?
Did you say what gigabyte?
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh,
On my
isn't that
phone?
great?
Well,
I don't know.
Finish your question because I have a dark
I just see
curiosity.
this. I'm going to just sip, and you take this one.
All right.
Because you know this world more than me.
Yes. So
I'm going to sip my gimlet.
fun, sad stat for you. 74% of Americans spend $4,000 a year on conveniences like subscription boxes, food deliveries, ride sharing, all through
I don't do
apps.
that stuff.
All through apps. This is huge. So millennials, they earn less than other generations, and they'll let you know that. They're always upset at the other generations. The wages. They're most likely to outsource tasks for convenience. 86% use convenience services like home cleaning, lawn care, food delivery. We don't have the energy, Rachel.
Okay, this is so interesting because this is a big shift from how I grew up. Like, we didn't have someone clean our house. My mom did it. Dad did the yard work for many
Bless
years before he hired a lawn service.
Papa Dave just out there in his Reeboks, just crushing the lawn.
Just doing the push mow.
I love it.
Push mower. Winston grew up doing yard work, all of it. So when we got rid of our lawnmower when we moved 2 years ago, because Winston mowed for 10 years of our marriage. And then when we moved 2 years ago, he sold it.
Wow.
And it was like a not a crisis moment, but it was this like value moment of like, okay, do I want my kids? Can your kids learn work ethic without seeing you as the parent fix stuff, do lawn care, clean the house, all of it? I want to say yes. I think they can learn that. But that's how we were taught. Like, that's how we learned to work.
And I don't have kids yet, so I don't have that thing where I'm like, the kids are watching. Like, my dogs are watching. They don't care. I've never mowed a lawn in my entire life.
Stop it, George.
Never.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, here's a question, George.
I'm almost proud of it now. I want to see if I can just go to the grave having never mowed a lawn.
Because we've talked about this offline, so I know this about you, that you're just not like necessarily a handy guy.
That hurt, but fair point.
You're not quite the handy
I'm more
man.
like, I'll fix your Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? I'll set up your smart bulbs.
Technology. That's why you took this piece of the podcast.
We all have our strengths.
But I do love
But this idea of like, I'm going to find a YouTube video to fix something, and it's like some guy in his basement. He's like, hey guys, I'm Randy. I'm going to show you. And it's just poorly done footage of 18 minutes of this guy showing me how to do this thing.
Save you so much money. Winston has fixed our washer with watching YouTube videos.
Winston is a superhuman.
Well,
the guy can do it all. He's a piano player. He's a handyman.
You should YouTube.
Well, anyways, millennials, we're more about saving time than saving money.
Yep,
Let's just call that out.
There you go. Agree to disagree in life, but that is it.
Fair point.
All
Touché.
right. Free shipping will also keep you broke because it causes you to buy more. 73% of buyers are more likely to make a purchase if free shipping is included. Are you one of the 73%?
I am.
Me too.
It legitimately pains me to pay for shipping. Mm-hmm. I hate it. I'd rather you build it into the cost and make me feel better.
Feel good about it?
Yeah. Like if it's $40 with $10 shipping, just make it $50 in free shipping. And I'm more likely to buy it.
To do it. Isn't that funny?
And you know what ruined that is Amazon.
Is Amazon Prime back to number one. I know.
That's huge.
I know. And I really have to be careful with it because if I buy clothes online and it's like, just for $35 more, you can have free shipping, but the shipping is $7. And I'm like, no, I will not fall for that scheme. So I have stayed strong in many weak moments, George.
I just don't know how they do it. I just got my dog food delivered. It's like a 9-pound bag of dog food, free shipping. And I'm like, how are they doing this? And it's still cheaper than going down to Petco.
There's got to be a conspiracy theory.
Not a sponsor, but hey, if you are, hit me up.
There you go. All right, next, smartphones.
Oh, boy. And this is just simply the cost of smartphones, which is now like a laptop cost.
Because it is a laptop.
They're all over $1,000.
It is crazy, though. What you can do on it, though, is insane.
And how easily you can break it is insane.
No, that's true, too. Would you ever go back to a flip phone?
Not in 1,000 years.
Does any part of your soul think, like, all of this is just ruining us, and I just could
absolutely.
go back to...
I remember getting the original iPhone, and it had Safari, and you could get on the internet, and it was like the web page was on my phone, and I was like, my mind is blown right now.
Such a huge deal. I had a Droid.
Can't go back.
I was a Droid user for a little bit. Did you know that?
And it shows. Shows, Rachel. Gosh.
That was my first smartphone. Actually, I did the BlackBerry Touch was my first smartphone. The BlackBerry Touch. Did you ever have the Nokia that had Snake
the brick.
and all that? Yes.
I would get a Nokia just to play Snake. That
was a great game. And I'd go to the kiosk in the mall and buy like jewel buttons for it, and then like a phone case.
It was bedazzled.
It was bedazzled. Yes, in high school when that was your phone.
And then you stopped by Claire's and you got your ears pierced.
All of it, and then Hot Topic. I mean, all of
Oh, gross.
I love them all.
Well, here's the thing with smartphones. There's this thing called planned obsolescence. Have you heard of this?
Wow, teach me.
Technology makers are making things to break quickly.
No, is that true?
Yes.
That is.
You ever heard the statement? They don't make them like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. They don't.
Because they're going to have you spend more.
They could make this phone invincible if they wanted to.
But don't.
Instead, you do one software update and then your phone is slow as molasses. And they're like, all right, time to get a new phone. It's been a year.
Yep.
Time to spend another $1,000. $1,000. And give this phone to my niece as her play. It's just.
Have they ever come out and said it?
No, they won't admit that.
No.
I'm sure they've been in like court and stuff and had to like face a judge and be like, no, we don't do that at all.
This is not
We're
true.
good people.
This is not true.
But I'm an Apple fanboy. Through and through. I will always have an iPhone.
You're going to be loyal.
I throw mad shade at Android users. Be better. Life is too short to use an Android. That should be Apple's tagline, truly.
Oh my
We just
gosh.
lost half of our listeners.
I know. If you're an
Listen,
Android user, I was.
Now, if you're doing it, they're always like, well, iPhones are too expensive. I'm like, Android, the nice ones are still like very, very expensive.
Yes,
All for a worse experience.
for a worse user experience.
You deserve better.
A lot of technology people, though, do Android.
New tagline, you work too hard to use an Android.
All right, last but not least, 24/7 access to anything we want in the world.
I love that this is a trend because this really points to the biggest problem with everything. Everything all of the time, whenever we want it, no matter what, access.
Instant gratification.
You remember like going to the library and having to like open an encyclopedia to like learn about a caterpillar?
We had those at our house. We had encyclopedias at our house. Yeah, to look up the word, everything.
It's ruined our critical thinking skills.
It's that, and I don't have data on this, but also they're saying that our brains, I wish I could remember specifically what it was. It's basically our brains are getting smaller or getting dumber.
Speak for yourself.
Because
Rachel.
we don't have to memorize stuff. Like if you're going somewhere, you just put it in your
Google
phone.
Maps.
Yep. Or a phone number. You don't have to memorize phone
You remember
numbers.
printing out MapQuest and having to be like, all right, we're opening
and
the
then
big
when
Magellan map?
When Garmin's came out, it was like, what?
Game changer.
What? Yes, but our brains literally are not functioning the way they did 20, 30 years ago because they don't have to. So there is something.
That's true. I'm pretty sure my parents still have the old school map, like brochure style, that they would fold out if they needed it in case of emergency.
Do you know when I think of that, I think of Crossroads, the Britney Spears movie. Did you ever see that?
Literally nothing in life could be like that. Makes me think of Crossroads from Britney Spears.
I think that's what it's
I do absolutely remember that movie though.
Because I remember yeah. But that's back in the day though.
I was more of a walk to remember kind of guy. Remember that one, Mandy Moore?
That was a great one too.
Classic, real sad.
Great. I bet they did use maps in that one too.
Well, back to access to anything. E-commerce. Let's talk about this. Credit cards, most popular method in e-commerce. 53% of all transactions are on a credit card. And it's frictionless. Now it's Apple Pay, and I just have to walk up and hold my phone near it or hold my card.
Yep.
And
there's no emotion attached.
It's done.
It's dangerous.
And with all of this access, it's impulse purchases. 2 out of 3 impulse purchases are done in your bed. That's insane.
Wait, say that again?
Think about 2 out of 3 impulse purchases are done in bed.
Oh, man.
You're in the bed, and it's usually late at night.
100%.
You know?
100%. Yes, that's when I buy all my clothes.
It just feels good. You're in your safe space. You're cozied
you're
up.
like, I can do that.
And you're like, time to scroll and tap.
Oh, man. Okay, you guys. So, listen. Moral of the story is not that these things are bad in and of themselves, because they are helping us move on with the world and give us time back, all the things. But you just have to be careful because you will spend money, sometimes money you don't even have, going into debt for it, to get this stuff. And the impulse buying and all of it, it's just can be so dangerous.
And we're guilty
to your
of this.
money.
Can we just call that out? We're not
yeah.
like on our mountaintop being like, you guys are terrible.
No.
We fall for this all the time.
No.
I have to really guard against it.
You really do. I mean, you want to budget and say, hey, do I have the money? Ask some good questions to yourself, as before you make a purchase. And it really does help because it can subside some of the impulse purchasing. But if you just live purely in your emotions, purely on your phone, you're going to spend lots and lots of money you don't need to. So
can I give them some quick tips?
Yeah, I mean,
on
this
smart
is our
spending?
podcast. We can do whatever we want.
All right. So I've got this framework called Smart Spender. And so this is just questions you ask before you make a purchase, and it'll help you guard against this. I use this personally. S, self-awareness. Is there something I want to buy? Is this based out of my values? If that's a yes, we move on to M, motive. Do I want to buy this for a good reason? Am I buying this to impress my buddy or because of peer pressure or because mom and dad? If it's a no, we got to stop and pause and find a way better motive.
It's good.
Affordability. If we actually answer this correctly, do I have the cash to pay for this in full? America would have no debt. This is huge. Make sure it's in the budget. You can afford it in cash. R for research. Most people skip the research. They just see the ad
Including
and they
me.
swipe up.
But you, George,
I'm like, is this cheaper elsewhere?
I know you're great at that.
And then timing. Is now the time to buy it? Oh boy, we got to get junior soccer gear. Now we can't buy this right now. Is the sale coming up for Labor Day? Let's wait. For sure there's going to be a sale. Let's wait to get a deal. If you walk through that, I think you make better smart spending decisions. And that's what I want everyone to do.
Is that what a gimlet does to you, George?
That's what a gimlet does to me. It just really, you said my brain's getting smaller. This gimlet is making my brain enlarge.
And that was very impressive.
Thank you.
Smart. So what do you call that? The smart spender?
Smart spending framework.
Great job, George. I
Thank
love
you.
that. I love
Appreciate that. All right, I'm still drinking. Are you? You're closer than I am.
I'm less than halfway done.
Okay.
You still got some.
Well, it's time for our last segment, Rachel.
That's
you know
right.
what it is.
I love it. Guilty as charged.
An aggressive term for a very fun segment, I will say.
So in this segment, our producer, Lindsay, is going to give us a new guilty as charged question every week. And if we are guilty, we have to drink and say why. So, Lindsay.
What is it, Lindsay? Hit us.
What is it this episode?
I'm kind of nervous.
Have you ever accidentally or intentionally stolen something?
Whoa.
Great question.
This is legitimately incriminating. I've only stolen hearts.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
George.
I'm just kidding. I'm trying to think of something I legitimately I've never gone into a store and just grabbed something and left.
know.
Not to that level.
Yes.
Have I done things that are ethically on the line?
I've gone to a movie theater and seen 2 movies and paid for one.
Ooh, that's a classic. That's
I did
technically
that.
stealing.
I mean, I technically stole from the actors in the movie, but we don't care about them. Remember, celebrities don't matter anymore, just influencers.
Man, have I legitimately stolen something? Now, unintentionally, when Rachel puts some earrings in her pocket at the store and just walks out, she's like, oh my gosh, how did these earrings get here?
Unintentional.
Never done that.
I'm just kidding.
Terrible.
It could be what if you thought someone paid something, bought this for you, you thought, and then you walk
you know
out,
what? My kids,
and you're like, ooh,
that's
I
happened
just
with my
stole that.
kids. That's happened
fair.
with my kids.
You know what
we walked
happened?
out of a store and we've been driving home. I'm like, where'd y'all get that? And they're like, I don't know. I just grabbed it. I'm like, you can't just take stuff. And we drove back because I really did feel guilty about it. I'm like, we didn't pay for this. And they need to learn that.
You win the Nobel Peace Prize.
It's called stealing. Would you do that, George?
No, but here's what has happened.
No.
A cashier, they put everything in the bag, they forgot to scan something.
Yeah, I don't
and
go
then
back.
it's in the bag, and then I'm gone, and I'm on the way home.
I don't
we're in
go
a
back
rush.
for that.
I'm like, I'm not going back. That's
not
user
either.
error. All
I
right,
agree.
they eat the cost of that.
That wasn't my fault.
That has for sure happened a few times.
Yep.
Unless it's something wildly expensive, then I'm like, oh my, they're not scanning an iPhone when you go to the Apple store. It's not that level. It's something that's like $1 or
Obsessed with
$2.
Apple. That's what I've decided.
Yeah,
in
what
this
about
episode.
at a restaurant if they didn't put your drink on there?
Oh, 100%.
Or whatever.
I'm not,
Do you say it? Are you like, oh,
I would
excuse
say
me.
it. I would.
Okay.
I just
Because that
go,
affects their tip, the total that I
just
tip
tip
on.
them more. That's what I do personally. If they miss something, I'm like, hey, compliments of the chef. All right, I'll give them an extra tip. Very nice.
Oh man, good.
I think the key here is Rachel's just a better person than me, is what I'm
That's
finding
a good
out.
theme of this podcast.
It's a great
we can
theme.
keep on that.
Golly.
I would feel that would be if it was really obvious. And the only reason I say that is if it's at a nice restaurant, I would feel bad and tell them. But if it was at Schlotsky's, I don't know. I'm trying to think of Sonic. I'm just trying to think of a random.
Rachel's always bringing up Schlotsky's.
I love Schlotsky.
Why don't you
reminds
tell
me
the
that they
people what
exist.
this is?
Schlotsky's? Everyone knows what Schlotsky's
It's just
is.
like a
Is it
sandwich
national?
place.
fast casual
It's a
sandwich
fast food
place.
sandwich place.
They're next to McDonald's.
But I'm like, I just, why is that so
I
funny?
legit don't think it's national.
The way she said it, Schlotsky's.
Schlotsky's is national. I guarantee it. We'll look it up
Okay,
after
we're gonna
this.
have to fact
It
check
is
that
national,
one.
but no one has been there in 19 years. The fact that that's what was on the top of your mind.
Schlotsky's the #1 original with
Now, I will
black
say,
olives.
if it's a small business versus Target, huge difference.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mr. Nobel Peace Prize.
I'm
now
just
you're
saying,
splitting
a
hairs.
giant corporation, you're yeah, stick it to the man.
All
Like
right.
Amazon sends me something by accident. I'm like, whatever, that's on them.
Yeah. But if something was addressed and it was not from your home, though.
I'm not taking. No, I'm gonna try to get it to the owner. I'm not evil,
I'm
Rachel.
just making sure. I'm feeling out. I'm feeling out
hey,
the.
If you have your own guilty as charged question you want us to answer, DM us on Instagram at Rachel Cruz, at George Camel. That'll be fun. We'll include that in the show.
All right, you guys. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. So, George, who finished? I am more
That's
finished than you are.
Rachel wins today.
I won. Yep.
What would you rate the drink today?
A basil gimlet. I love a basil gimlet. I love a gimlet. It's kind of my go-to cocktail at
It's
restaurants.
a fun word. Let's be honest.
It's great. So I'm going to say a 9.
I was going to go 9 out of 10.
Great, George.
We finally agree on something.
Yes.
That's good.
Unbelievable.
And if you want the recipe for this, you can check out the show notes. This one is on the pricier side because you've got to get fresh squeezed limes, you got to get the basil. So there's some extra ingredients in here, but you're still looking at $274 depending on the type of gin that you
wow,
use.
specific.
$3 or so. We're going to go $3. If you want to use fancy gin, it'll go up a little bit. You want to use the cheap stuff, it might go down a little bit.
It's great.
So there you go.
All right, you guys. So if you want to hear more episodes, make sure to click the subscribe and follow button. Don't forget to follow us on social, and we'll be releasing episodes every Thursday. George, this was so fun.
It was a blast. And if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all, okay? Don't be a jerk on the
if
internet.
you don't like it, you don't have to review it.
Yeah, don't be a troll.
You don't have to put a review on.
But this was fun,
but if you like it,
episode 1 in the books.
In the books. So we'll see you next week on
Smart Money Happy Hour.